Alright, so for number 4a, you had f of x equals 3x over 2x plus 5. And for that question, we had to state the domain of f of x. So in order to state the domain, we just set the denominator equal to 0 and say 2x plus 5 cannot equal 0. Solve that equation by subtracting 5, divide by 2, and your domain is all real numbers except x equals negative 5 halves. For b, you find the domain. G of x, you have the square root, and we know the square root cannot be negative. You can't take the square root of a negative number and get a real number. So we say that what's underneath the square root has to be greater than or equal to 0. And then we solve that inequality, add 1 to both sides. And then to get rid of the fraction, multiply by the reciprocal, 3 over 4. 1 multiplied by 3 over 4, and we get 3 over 4. For 4c, determine f of x plus 2. So we take the function f of x and we plug in x plus 2. So instead of 3x, it becomes 3x plus 2. Instead of 2x, it becomes 2x plus 2, and then plus 5. Using distributive property, 3x plus 6, 2x plus 4, plus 5. So your final answer, 3x plus 6 over 2x plus 9. For d, g of 3x, so we plug in 3x for x, so 4/3 times 3x, which 3's just cancel, and you get 4x minus 1. So your final answer, square root 4x minus 1. For e, f of g of 3/4. So we start by doing g of 3/4. So to do g of 3/4, you plug 3/4 in for x. 4/3 times 3/4, 3's cancel, 4's cancel, and you just get 1 minus 1, 0. Square root of 0 is 0. So g of 3/4 is equal to 0. So then we do f of 0, 3 times 0 over 2 times 0 plus 5, 0 over 5 equals 0. So your final answer, f of g of 3 over 4 equals 0. For f, g of p of x equals g of p of x, g of p of x. So g of 6x minus 3, because that's p of x. We plug that in for x. 4/3 times 6x minus 3, minus 1. 4/3 times 6x is 8x. 4/3 times negative 3, negative 4, minus 1. So it simplifies to 8x minus 5. So your final answer, g of p of x equals square root 8x minus 5. Square root 8x minus 5. For g, finding the inverse, we know to find the inverse, we change f of x to y, and then we switch out x and y. So you have x equals 3y over 2y plus 5. Multiply both sides by the denominator, so you get 2y plus 5 times x equals 3y. Bring all the y's over to one side. Bring all the x's over to the other side after you distribute. So 2y times x, 2xy. 5 times x, 5x, equals 3y. Bring the 3y over, so 2xy minus 3y. Bring the 5x over, minus 5x. Factor out the y times 2x minus 3. And then to get y by itself, divide both sides by 2x minus 3, and you get y equals negative 5x over 2x minus 3, which is the inverse of f of x. For h, inverse g of x, use the function g of x, switch out x and y, get rid of square root, square both sides, so you get x squared equals 4/3 y minus 1, plus 1 to both sides is an x, and you get x squared plus 1 equals 4/3 y, multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 4/3, 3/4, so 3/4 x squared plus 1, distribute 3/4 x squared plus 3/4 is the inverse for g of x. For I, p minus h of x, so it is p of x minus h of x, combine like terms, there's no x squareds, minus x squared, 6x minus negative 3x, 9x, negative 3 minus negative 28, positive 25. So your final answer, negative x squared plus 9x plus 25. For j, same two functions, but you're adding them. X squared